I want to talk now about a little bit of some of the risks with more established wellness programs, but I think it's important to remember some of the positive things. Some of the issues that you are going to come across with in a wellness program is going to depend a lot on whether you're gathering medical information for a wellness program or not. And I'm talking about the wellness programs that a lot of larger employers sometimes put together, where there's an incentive for participating in wellness activities. And the reason that it becomes an issue is because for those that say that you're going to offer an incentive in terms of some type of prize, some type of a reward, or in many cases, some type of an incentive in terms of the cost of healthcare, of whatever healthcare plan that you provide. And if in those cases, and again, let me back up for a minute, the concerns that we're talking about here is with a number of different laws, and I'm talking now specifically today about the Americans with Disabilities Act and GINA, Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act. Probably familiar with the ADA. It requires that you, as employers, you provide accommodations to employees who have a medical condition, and you have to try to provide an accommodation to make sure that they can try to perform the essential functions of the job with or without that accommodation. With the GINA, Genetic Information Non-Discrimination Act, it prohibits employers from gathering genetic information from employees. And genetic information sounds very but it can be just as much as like a family history of high blood pressure, diabetes, or things of that nature. Anyway, if you're gathering medical information, those two statutes come into place, and you have to be careful with your wellness programs. Number one, under the ADA, you can't gather medical information until you've extended a conditional offer of employment. In order to gather medical information, whether it's a questionnaire or have a medical exam, you have to have extended a conditional offer of employment, meaning that you said you are going to be employed here subject to this medical questionnaire or subject to this medical exam. But if it's part of a wellness program, you can gather that information. The only thing is that wellness program has to be only an incentive. It can't be coercion into making the people join the wellness program. Let me give you an example. What is an incentive versus coercion? This is the area that makes lawyers happy, right? Because everybody here is going to have a different answer. Recently, there were a couple of lawsuits filed against a manufacturer in Wisconsin and the city of Chicago in Illinois, in which they offered a program where there were incentives for keeping up with blood pressure, with cholesterol, and a number of other different kinds of metrics. And they offered a $50 discount on employment on healthcare for the employees who participated in the program. In both of those cases, there were lawsuits filed, and the litigation is still ongoing as to whether that $50 in each premium is going to be considered coercion as opposed to motivation. So you want to be careful if you're going to have an incentive, if you're going to have a wellness program where you're requiring medical information, that you make sure that whatever the benefits of joining that program are going to be seen just as an incentive and not coercion. Obviously, you can't say, well, if you don't avail yourself of this program, you're going to get fired. That's a pretty bright line. Or if you don't avail yourself of this program, you can't have health insurance through us. That's a no-no. But what is it that you can offer versus not offer? And again, if you're not requesting medical information, you can offer bigger incentives.
Okay.
If you're not requiring medical, let's say you have a smoking cessation program, and you're going to, give people like theater tickets or something like that, or even a bigger, $200 bonus if you quit smoking, then that you're not gathering information. It's okay. But it's when you're gathering information that you have to be careful about sort of this threshold of an incentive versus coercion.